Sua anteira não tá saindo nada. É no... Tá porra, cara!
Imagine you're out in the middle of the jungle and you suddenly realize there's an animal watching your every single move. That animal is a jaguar. Now, we all know the Amazon rainforest is one of the most mysterious places on the entire planet. This place is home to some of the most insanely dangerous animals you've ever seen in your life, like a frog that can literally kill up to 20 people just by touching it, or the black caiman, which can grow over 16 feet long and will absolutely attack a human being. And then there's the one, the only, the jaguar, with a bite so powerful it could go straight through a human skull like it's nothing. Right here, you can see just how terrifying this animal really is. And honestly, you might have actually jumped watching this, because this jaguar charges straight at the protective fence. And if that fence wasn't there, yeah, that dude wouldn't have even gotten close. One detail about this clip is that the jaguar appears to have what looks like a chunk of meat right there. So this animal is clearly in full predator mode, straight up protecting its kill. And no cap, that is genuinely horrifying. Just imagine being out in the jungle and running into this thing in that exact state. This, ladies and gentlemen, is the jaguar in its element. On top of being a sound that will absolutely send chills down your spine, the roar a jaguar makes is used to mark its territory, to attract other males, and most importantly, to communicate with its cubs. And I have to ask, what on earth is this dude doing inside that jungle? I get that he feels safer being up high, probably thinking the jaguar can't reach him. But here's the thing, if a jaguar really wanted you, it's getting you. These cats can absolutely climb trees. You could literally be out there exploring the jungle and look up to find one of these things already staring down at you from a branch. Now, the size of an Amazon jaguar can reach up to about 6 feet long and weigh around 200 pounds. That's already a massive animal. But in the Pantanal, oh buddy, they can grow up to 8 feet long and tip the scales at 330 pounds. That's basically the size of a small lion. The reason for this size difference between regions is actually super interesting. In the Amazon, the jungle is so dense and packed that if a jaguar gets too big, it literally can't move through the terrain or find enough food. But in the Pantanal, the environment is way more open, and there's an all-you-can-eat buffet of capybaras, caimans, and deer, which is why they grow so much bigger and more powerful. As you can see in this image, they're almost being compared to the size of a lioness. Wild, right? The jaguar's yellow coat covered in black rosettes lets it blend into the vegetation almost perfectly. It basically becomes invisible. And on top of that, it's a straight-up ambush predator, silent, patient, and calculated. A cow can be hanging out in the jungle or drinking from a river and get snatched before it even knows what hit it. The way it moves is incredibly slow and completely silent, creeping to just a few feet away from its prey before exploding into an insanely fast leap. This entire attack happens in literal seconds. When it jumps on the animal, it locks on instantly and delivers what I can only describe as a fatality, a bite force of 1,300 to 1,600 psi. And if you don't know how insane that is, not even a lion comes close to that. The tiger bites at around 1,000 psi. The lion, only about 600. The jaguar hits different. Most of the time, it uses this move on the head or the back of the neck to finish the kill. A move like that on a human skull? Game over, no second chances. What I think is the most mind-blowing thing about this animal is that it's not just a land predator, it's also an aquatic predator. It hunts both land animals and aquatic ones without breaking a sweat. Right here, you can see actual footage of a jaguar attacking a caiman, and watching this, you realize how absurdly strong this animal is. It picks that caiman up like it's nothing, and it's doing it from an elevated position too, which makes it even more impressive. That's biologist Richard Rasmussen, and in this video, Richard goes to meet a jaguar named Shavante. Shavante arrived at the Institute as a cub at just 20 days old and was bottle-fed, developing a strong bond with the team. But as you can see in this part of the video, those wild instincts still very much there. The scariest thing about this animal is that roar. Just imagine being deep in the jungle and hearing that sound. I guarantee you'd be sprinting without even looking back to see what's behind you. After Shivante charges at the group, they immediately back away because the animal was clearly agitated. And honestly, if there was no enclosure there, you already know how that story ends. Here's something wild that most people don't realize. Everyone hypes up the tiger and the lion because they're bigger and more intimidating looking. But a ton of people forget that the jaguar is the third largest feline on the entire planet, behind only the tiger and the lion. And here's the kicker. Pound for pound, the jaguar has the most powerful bite of all three, not even close. And like I mentioned, the jaguar is an ambush predator. It's incredibly intelligent, using a surprise technique to catch prey before they even realize what's happening. If you let your guard down around this animal, it will absolutely play you. Now, even though this is an extremely dangerous predator, attacks on humans are actually considered pretty rare. But let's be clear, they do happen. And that's exactly what went down with a man known as Seu Jorge. Down in Mato Grosso do Sul, in a region called Mata de Toro Morto, a 60-year-old man named Jorge Avalo was attacked by a jaguar while trying to collect honey near the edge of the jungle. The jaguar most likely surprised him by leaping directly onto him, and the fact that it happened in the middle of the night made the animal's camouflage even more effective. The most shocking part of this case? The jaguar had been watching Jorge for days. This footage shows the animal's paw prints right next to the property. And just imagine waking up one morning and seeing jaguar tracks right outside your door. That is terrifying. The jaguar had been tracking his daily routine every single day, and it was caught multiple times on security cameras near the area. After the attack, the jaguar dragged George's body over 160 feet from where it happened. When the search party went into the jungle, one of the members reported that the jaguar was still on top of the body, and on top of that, it attacked one of the people in the group. Even more chilling, before all of this happened, a friend of George's had already pointed out jaguar tracks near his house, even joking around and showing him just how big those claws were, warning him that the animal was going to end up getting him. And sadly, that's exactly what happened. Now, cases like this are still relatively rare, and part of what contributed to George's tragedy was his own disbelief that the jaguar could actually do anything to him. But the reality is, this animal had been there for months, accepting that it was in its own territory. If a jaguar sees an opportunity, especially driven by extreme hunger, or if it's developed a taste for humans, it will act on it. And here's something important. The jaguar is an endangered animal, and the real threat is actually not the jaguar to humans, it's humans to jaguars. Way more jaguars are killed by people than people are killed by jaguars. That's why in many cases, these animals are captured and taken to rehabilitation centers to keep them from being killed out of fear. But none of that changes the fact that if you're out in the jungle, or even near the edge of one, you could absolutely come face to face with this animal. In some situations, a person can survive if they protect themselves. In others, if you don't have something to defend yourself with, you're probably not making it out.
Oh, o ladrão de peixe!